Yes, people, what is going on? Big up everyone who's already in the chat. Big up everyone who's watching afterwards. Make sure you smash that like button on the way in and subscribe if you're new, as always. But I'll big up everyone. We got the summer panel show back. We got a lot to talk about, so we had to do one. We put off last week, adds to build up the momentum, more things. Back then, Rice wasn't complete. There was so much. Now we're a little bit more. We kind of know a little bit more about what's going on at most of the clubs. I've got Lewis with me. I've got Lee with me, as always. Big up, brothers. What's going on?
Good, man. Good. How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. You know what I mean? We got a special guest today. Henry's jumping in to rep that Tottenham. Big up, bro, for your debut on the show, man. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, big up. Thanks for having me on. Big up everyone in the chat. And yeah, looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it.
We should have Cal and maybe one or two others jumping in as a little bit later on as well. So look forward to that. But yeah, I just want to jump straight in and talk about the people who've been moving the best so far. There's no denying it, regardless of whether we like them or not. Arsenal are definitely the ones who are dominating the transfer window right now. They're making moves. We've got a members video that's coming out later on this evening. Where I was chopping up some Arsenal talks and members. Make sure you stay tuned for that this evening. And I said you got to give credit, whether you like Arsenal or not, whether they're your rivals or not. If you look at a club that's gone and just lost the league, and then you think what you do to make sure you can try and not let it be a flash in the pan and go again and possibly go one step further, Arsenal are kind of doing what that is. So, Lee, talk to me, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, listen, man. It's a good start. I will say it's a good start. Look, I think we spoke about Havertz. We spoke about the possibility. I know Lewis is giving his thoughts, and he doesn't think he's good enough. I think the jury's possibly still out on him, but you know what? I want to give him some credit because over the last couple of days there was a lot online about him. The day before he had a skills challenge where. Yeah, it didn't look great. But you know what? In the game, I thought he looked a lot better. And that doesn't mean anything. In truth, it doesn't mean anything. It's a preseason game, but you can only go off what you see for your club, and that's where I leave it. I think what I saw from him in the I believe he played like 15. No, he played about 25-ish minutes. He looked good. He did look good, and yeah, I was a little bit more impressed with what I saw. Obviously, Declan Rice, he came on. Yeah, I don't feel like I need to say no more on him. I thought he was just, solid as can be. And yeah, the most important signing for us, maybe, and the one who looked the best was Timber. Now, I didn't know much about him. I'm never going to confess to act like I knew a lot about him, but he looked so good. He looked so good, and I just think that it just opens up so many avenues for us. He nips the ball back. He's got like a free roam to do what he likes, and he can play these little disguised passes. He just looked really, really good. Now, again, I'm not going to go crazy because it was the the American All-Star, MLS All-Star game, and they weren't great. And this is no shade at all on Liverpool, but you played a German second division team, and you conceded 2 goals. So people might say, you don't want to look too much into that, but I just think that we
scored 2 worldies though. They're 2 goals against us. Like,
yeah. I did. And again, maybe I should because I didn't see the game. I didn't see the game at all. But what I am saying is that we could have conceded goals because I believe the MLS is probably a bit better in terms of level than that team you played yesterday. I don't know, but yeah, listen, I'm really impressed with what I saw yesterday. I'm really, really impressed with what I saw yesterday. And yeah, listen, man, we're seemingly doing big things, man. We're doing big things. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would just like to throw in that team. That was their 6th preseason game, and it was our first, so they're way fitter than we are. So
yeah, no, this is no shade. No. I'm not doing that. Listen, I'm not doing no shade against Liverpool, man. None whatsoever. I don't need to, man. I don't need to. So I didn't know.
Yeah. Lewis, I know you hate. Actually, no, maybe Henry. I don't know, actually. Lewis, it might be you hates Arsenal more. It might be Henry. I don't actually know.
No, he probably hates them more than us. than
We
I
can
do.
mutually hate Arsenal more. It's fine. It's fine.
But how do you feel, Lewis, looking in as an outsider? Obviously, we will get onto Chelsea in a bit, but from an Arsenal point of view, how do you feel as a rival, as someone who doesn't like them? Are you feeling a little bit more worried? Do you think they are cementing their places, like you have to take them serious, or do you think it might go wrong? How are you feeling about what they're doing?
I don't know. Like, they're having a good window. They're having a really good window. I'm not taking it away from them. Havertz transfer aside, obviously, because I need to see how they're going to utilize him first. But other than that, they've done really well. Like, maybe they could keep challenging and maybe push City a bit further, but I don't know. In my head, I still think City are winning the league. I think maybe Arsenal pushed them a bit further, but that's about it. Like, they made the right moves and everything. Maybe if City don't strengthen in the right back position and the right wing position, maybe there might be a couple holes that they could expose, or maybe even Liverpool, because I think Liverpool's had a very good window as well. It'd be one of you two that challenges. But in terms of worrying about them, not really. Like, after the season that we've had, I'm just focusing on Chelsea. I need Chelsea to get back into shape and be able to contend for top 4, and then maybe we can look a little bit higher in terms of contending for the title. They've done well. They've done really well. Again, the Havertz transfer is very questionable. I kind of feel like that's what's going to hold them back, because they have to start him. And I need to see him play well and play consistently before I think he can be a part of any sort of title-winning team. So if Arteta does that, more power to him. He's a much better manager than I'd give him credit for if he's able to do that. But until then, I still see Man City winning the league. So it doesn't really change my perspective of being worried about if they're going to win the title or anything like that.
Okay. Henry, how are you feeling about Arsenal?
Well, look, I don't want to give them props, but they're doing everything right that they should be. That Timber, I mean, I was up last night till stupid o'clock, so I watched some of it, and he looks a real talent. Like he can play. There's reports coming out that he can play DM. Well, Ben White's going to have trouble keeping his place next season if he's on it as well. Ben White was one of the best right backs in the league last year. Declan Rice, unreal signing, let's be honest. To get a captain out of any Premier League club that comes in and solidifies and improves your midfield, you're doing wonders. Havertz, big question mark over him, because I don't actually mind Havertz in terms of what he does when he gets in the right position. He gets in a lot of the right positions. But it's Arteta and the coaching staff and him have got to improve that finishing product. Because I think when we played them at the Bridge, he had 5 chances against us, and they were good chances. And we were awful that day as well. They had something like 68, 70% of the possession. We had Brexit football, terrorist football under Conte, where, you know, we're counter-attacking everyone, and they absolutely peppered us. And Havertz was unreal that day, apart from the finishing. If they can get that finishing product from Havertz, he'll be a good player. But the big question mark is where's he going to play? Because Jesus last night looked pretty good. I think he's going to play through the middle. Saka's got that right-hand spot. And then you might say Trossard and Martinelli. Well, Martinelli's going to start, but Trossard might be back up for Martinelli. So then where does that leave Havertz? Because I personally think with the midfield they had last year, Xhaka, Partey and Odegaard, I think that's stronger than Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, right? But then if Partey stays as well, does that mean Partey goes as 6, Rice is the 8, and Odegaard is the 10? So then where does Sky... And you can't leave a £65 million player out straight away.
I think that the only thing I will say to that, Henry, is what I think Arsenal and Arteta are really learning is that it's about rotation. So it's not, we don't have starters anymore. We have a squad, and a squad that are going to be used. And I think that's one thing that every club wants. Every club wants their manager to be use rotation. Why do we not put a lot of Man City players in our fantasy league? Because why? You never know.
Because Pep's playing roulette.
There you go. You never know. And that's what I think now. I think the issue that Arteta had was he just didn't trust some of his squad. He didn't trust some of the players that were coming in. You've now got a situation where, whether you like him or not, you've got Jorginho on the bench, and he's probably going to hardly ever play. I know we've got players like ESR. Look, some people rate him, some people don't, but he's another one.
I think he should lead, to be real. Because
but do you see my point? We've got another player. So the squad is looking really good. We've got 2 young strikers, maybe not good enough, but Nketiah and Balogun. I think, look, the squad is growing. And yesterday, you know, you look at that squad, the first team, normally what happens is in the first half, you play your strongest team. Second half, you play a bit of a weaker team. Mate, there was no real drop off. You know, we bought off.
The intensity lifted. I'll
Mate,
give you that.
it looked good. It looked, and again, it's the MLS All Stars. I don't watch any of the MLS. I don't know any of the players in the MLS, so I can't speak on the quality. I don't know if it's better than the third tier of English football. I genuinely don't know. So where I'm not going to lose my head over it. But I'm just
you can only play what you're in front of.
What's in front of them. Yeah,
like Newcastle were 2-0 down to some non-league side the other day.
Yeah, there you go. So I think so for me, look, I'm very very happy. Yeah, Gateshead. I'm very very happy with where we are right now. I'll be honest with you. If we keep, which I'm actually more certain we're going to do now, if we keep Partey and have Odegaard in front with Declan Rice floating around and, you know, shuffling across and, you know, coming as a double pivot, that's a midfield that is going to be feared by a lot of teams. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's up there with one of the best midfields because you've got two players that it's very difficult to get past them in Partey and Declan Rice. And Declan Rice, he's whatever you want to say, he's a bulldozer. He can carry that ball forward. You've got Odegaard who can spray balls from absolutely anywhere, create from any sort of position. You've got Saka and Martinelli. And then obviously you've got Jesus who kind of just links it all together. So on the face of it, it looks good. And then, as I said, you can bring in the likes of Trossard. He can come in and do something. He could
even be back up for Odegaard. Like if you get an injury, there you go.
There you go. You've got Fabio Vieira. And again, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan, but he did look a bit better yesterday. So all I'm saying is right now, it does look good. It does look good. So let's see, man. Let's see. I'm not gonna go crazy, as I said, because you have to look at the quality of opposition you're playing. But we didn't have Zinchenko in the squad yesterday. We didn't have Partey in the squad yesterday. We didn't have El Nene in the squad yesterday. Again, some people are not going to rate him. We didn't have what's his name? Even Matt Turner, our backup goalkeeper, in the squad yesterday. We didn't have ESR in the squad yesterday. So for me, I'm just looking at it and I'm like, it's looking good. It is looking good. I'm not gonna lie, it's looking good. And this is what we wanted. I wanted this for a while, man. I wanted us to be in a position where we can have players, we can have a squad. We're not doing this first 11, second 11. Nah, that's dead, man. You can't do that. You can't navigate through football like that. You really can't. So yeah.
I mean, just quickly, it's kind of like just a yes or no answer, I guess, and then I touch on Balogun. Do you think if Havertz had been an Arsenal player for like 15 mil, it would be like an absolute minor? But it's the fact he's gone for a big fee, which is going to probably be the issue with him being a squad player. And then with Balogun, I think Balogun looks way better than Nketiah. I know it's a smaller sample size, but he just looks better in my opinion. Like I like to make a judgment sometimes just based on what I call football swag. I know it sounds childish, but I call it football swag. Like, he just looks like he's got more about him, you know what I mean, than Nketiah does. Would you prefer to keep Balogun? And what do you think is actually going to happen with Balogun?
Do you know why it's so difficult with Balogun? Because if you look at the Arsenal squad, we've got, and I call them Swiss Army knives, we've got players that can play in 4 or 5 different positions. You think about Ben White, you think about Zinchenko, you think about Tomiyasu, you think about Saka, you think about Martin Jesus. Every single player in our squad can play 1 or 2 positions. Balogun and probably Saliba are the only ones, and obviously Ramsdale are the only real ones that can play 1 position. And I don't know if Arteta likes that. I don't think he likes these non-flexible players. So I listen, from what I've heard behind the scenes, and again, sometimes I'm just privy to some things that people don't know. I think he's more hassle than he's worth. I don't think he's that great. I really don't. I'm not going to be coming on here and say if he scores a hat trick and say that he doesn't deserve to stay. But I just don't know if he's the kind of player that is a team player. Now, you look at Nketiah, he's definitely not good enough for Arsenal, but Nketiah is going to work hard for the team. Nketiah is going to
put the right mentality. That's what he's got.
Going to go on. He's going to run them channels. That's what you need. He's going to stretch defenses. He's going to play on the wings. He really, really is a team player. Balogun's probably better than him, but can we calm down? He scored 21 goals or 20 goals in the French league last season. But if you look at it and give perspective, Lacazette, did anybody in this panel rate him? No. And he scored more goals than Balogun last season in the French league. So it's a give and take. That's all I want to say is people just need to calm down a little bit when we talk about 1 seasons. doing things. And everybody on here, again, the same thing. Is anyone going to call Saka world class after one season? No. So why do I have to start giving Balogun all the praise in the world after one good season, right? If that's what we're going to do. Is anybody on this panel going to rate Havertz all of a sudden after one game? No, but he scored a goal, right? So all I'm saying is, let's just give it a bit of time. Let's see what he can do. Sometimes you've got a player who's got a lot of ego and he thinks that he's the big shot. And sometimes it doesn't work out for you. It just doesn't work out for you at a club. And not every youth player is going to make it at that club. Not every single one. Look, you think about Chelsea, Mason Mount, golden boy. He's now at Man United. So it happens, man. It happens. Harry Kane, he's out now at Spurs. I'm not saying he's he's an Arsenal boy because he's definitely a Spurs guy now. So fair enough. Give up.
He might not be for much longer if you.
Well, he is, but he's a Spurs fan. Like he's not an Arsenal fan now. So, but he grew up an Arsenal fan. He's now a Spurs fan. Fine, whatever. So, listen, man. For me, look, I would get rid of Balogun. I really would. 50 million. Put it in the pockets. I would actually get rid of Nketiah as well, and actually get someone else, maybe one striker who's a bit better, maybe a bit of a plan B.
Would you take like 60, 70 million for both of them? And
yeah, 70 million.
Or let's say you get 60 million for both of them, and then go and drop 40 or 45, 50 million on Ivan Toney, bring him in January.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only problem is I don't think they ain't selling him for 40. They ain't selling Toney for 40.
I don't know. He's got in January. He'll have 18 months left on his deal, and at what cost? You know, if he come, I don't know. There's all this talk about he don't want to be at Brentford. Right.
Listen. If he's going for 50 million, that's great business. That's great business. I don't know. I don't see how they're going to sell him for that money. But listen, if they are, then yeah, 100% I'll take him. I think he's absolutely like a great player. You look at some players sometimes and you're like, you can see them making that step up. Trossard would look like someone like that. Jota probably looked like someone like that. Diaz looked like something. You see that sometimes, and I think he looks like a player that can make that step up quite easily. So yeah, 100% I would take him in a heartbeat. So yeah, but I really don't think he's going to be sold for 50 million pounds. But you could be right, man. You could be right.
Funny you say that though, because I personally think, and we might as well move on to Spurs as a segue. I personally think if Spurs really was like playing this smart, they get 100 to 120 mil for Harry Kane right now.
Yeah.
They go and drop 60, 70 mil, whatever it takes to get Toney from Brentford.
You test
ride out Richarlison
at 50 and then move up.
Tony's ours. Tony's ours.
Ivan Toney is such a like-for-like replacement for Harry Kane. It's not even funny. I know he's not as good as Harry Kane, but like, do you get what I mean? He's got a similar play. He can drop deep, link play, brilliant in the box, good in the air. He's like, if I was Tottenham, I'd be doing everything to get all the money I can now for Kane, replace him, ride out Richarlison until January. Then he comes in, perfect for everybody to get used to it. And then you've maybe dropped down a level because he's not, Harry Kane, but you haven't dropped much of a level. And who else is more, like, I don't know. I think Tottenham are missing a trick. I don't know what you
right? If we're talking about a player who wants to play Champions League, wants to even play in Europe, he's a player who, okay, fine, Spurs have a great stadium. They've got a fantastic training facility, but the overall project, I know, look, that the big Ange, the manager, look, I think he's going to actually do quite well, but we don't know. It's the unknown.
The thing is, though, we can offer, like, the one thing that Tottenham will do is they'll make him the face of the club.
Yeah,
and
if you
I know what you're going to say. You're going to say it's about trophies. I know.
No. Do you know what? I wasn't even going to say that. I wasn't even going to say that. I was just more looking at him as a player. He looks like someone who wants to go into a big club. Now, listen, I'm sorry to say, but he probably looks like he wants to go into a Chelsea and actually.
I hear that. I hear that.
I don't think he wants to go to. I mean, look, I don't know, but I can't see him saying, you know what, Spurs is that much of a level up right now. They are a bigger club than Brentford. Come on, ridiculous. Of course they are. But right now, are you at a point where you're going to be consistently in the Champions League? Are you at a point where you're consistently going to be spending the money? Are you at a point where your club looks to be up there, going to be challenging for the major honours? No. Do Chelsea? Probably not either, but they look like they just have a better project and they spend more money.
Chelsea have got that mentality in the football club where they want to win at all cost. Our owners care more about what we're doing off the pitch rather than on the pitch. Like, we've got all these things happening at the ground. Everyone knows all the concepts and that. The thing is, for me, All this Harry Kane news come out today. Ben Jacobs, whether you think he's reliable or not, he come out and said Kane won't be signing a new contract. Then Ali Gold, who is pretty much like the Fabrizio Romano of the Tottenham world, come out and said he won't be signing a new deal. And apparently we've got 400 grand on the table. Bayern Munich are apparently going to offer him 250 grand. And then all of the Tottenham fan base, you know, the most clapped fan base in the world, saying, why would he leave Tottenham when you've got Bayern Munich sitting there? Like, I'm
no
sorry.
way, really?
No, we Tottenham fans are the worst fans in the world. You know, like,
I didn't think they were that deluded, but first.
I'll give you an example, right? West Ham win the Conference League and we're mocking West Ham. Oh, look at them celebrating the Tin Pot Trophy. This is the trophy that we couldn't even get out of the group stage for. We got knocked out of the Conference League by COVID. You want a third-year reason to lose, right? And then
That's crazy.
We're sitting there largely in charge, going, "Oh, but look at them celebrate." That's bigger than anything we've done the last 30 years.
Like, yeah, it was a bit weird. It was
have some shame. The thing is, if Kane is going to leave, I've said it for a month now. Get him out of the squad as fast as possible, because it will otherwise. We need to look at life without Harry Kane. If he doesn't want to be there, cash in, get 100 million. Go and get a striker, go and get a winger, and go and get another midfielder. Richarlison's will probably get you, well, I don't know how many goals he's going to get you. Maddison will get you 10 to 15. A fully fit Son gets you 10 to 15. Kulusevski gets you, I don't know, 8 to 10. Then you got Solomon comes in. Then a new striker. Then a new winger. We've sold Bauer before. We've sold Berbatov, Modric. There's life, you know, think back years ago, Glenn Hoddle, Gaza. There's life at Tottenham without Harry Kane. And it's a bit of an unpopular opinion, but we'll probably play better football without Harry Kane as well. Because watching that game against West Ham, Harry Kane's trying to drop deep and Maddison's there. So Maddison gets the ball and goes, where are you? Like, where's that number 9 run? Why are you not in the box? Because he's used to not having anyone there now. Now we've got
he'll get used to that though if Maddison starts settling
he will,
in,
but you know, we've got this. I don't know if any of you lot know, we've got this something called Spurs Play, which you've got to pay like 50 quid a year and you can watch all the friendlies. It's another money-making machine that Levy's got, right? There has not been a single interview that Kane's done. And bearing in mind, this is the face of the club. You know, we've got a memorial outside the ground where you can scan your QR code and you can take a selfie next to it. Everything is about Harry Kane. Every single thing. He hasn't done a single press interview. He hasn't said anything at all, which signals to me there's not a happy player in the dressing room. If you look at Maddison, he has been all over our socials. Everything is about James Maddison, right? Then today, Harry Kane, from Ben Jacobs, Ali Gold, and Romano, he's not happy. Well, straight away,
but Henry, my only thing I'm going to say to you is, what's the issue with Harry Kane? Harry Kane can't dictate. No. My thing is, Harry Kane can't dictate where he goes. He can't dictate the fee that he wants to go for. So
he can and he can't at the same time, because if you get an unhappy player, right, Levy's got to be thinking right now, do I cash in and get 80, 90, 100 million, or do I go on a free? Now, I don't think Kane's...
hypothetically, if he says, all right, I'm not selling you no matter what, then what? What position do you...
Then Daniel Levy's got to think, do I get £100 million or do I get one good season out of Harry Kane where he scores another 30 goals? Because top 5 is Champions League next year, right? We need centre-backs more than anything. Watching Davinson Sanchez, this guy is an absolute... I mean, it's not even bother talking about.
But that's the risky thing, though. If you keep Kane for one more year, he's not leaving England because he's going to be too close to the record to leave.
This is my point.
Even now, never.
So then does he go and join Man United, or does Poch flirt him and say, look, we're now in the Champions League? Because don't be surprised if Chelsea put... These players don't like the like we all think they do. Harry Kane, the thing is, Kane doesn't want to disrupt his relationship with the Spurs fans. But then Levy's thinking, in 12 months down the line, if he goes and joins one of our rivals, how's the fan base going to react? The best thing we can do right now is sell him to Bayern.
But he can say that's not his fault too. It kind of clears him a little bit. It's like, Chelsea, Kane snaked you. I just kept him because he'd get us top 4 or something.
I hear that. But if he goes and joins Chelsea, that is just as big as Sol Campbell joining Arsenal.
No, but that's on Kane. Like, Levy absolves himself for a lot of blame in his eyes.
I don't know, Lewis. I think the Tottenham fan base would blame him for not just shotting him to Bayern Munich. Like, if you really think about it,
if Harry Kane leaves, I don't see Tottenham having any chance of making the top 4. I could get holding him for 1 year to potentially happen in the UCL.
We would still score goals. We probably wouldn't score as many goals, but you have to find a different way of playing football. If Harry Kane
But
has a bad
Harry,
game,
the amount of
Tottenham
goals
have a bad
Kane
game.
gives you is a big difference. Look
Yeah.
at your squad last season. He got you
Yeah.
30 in the league.
I know, but we have got to find another way of playing football. When Harry Kane, we did it with Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale had 2 or 3 seasons where he was literally one of the best players on the planet. This guy was scoring worldies every single game. There was life after Gareth Bale, and there'll be life after Harry Kane. What we should do is sell him to Bayern Munich. You can go and win your trophies there. Everyone will probably still belittle it and say, "Oh, you've only won a trophy of Bayern Munich." That's the agenda that's coming. The only way he'll get any props is if he wins the Champions League of Bayern. Let him do
I
that.
agree with you on all of that, but here's the thing: we're looking at this from a football perspective. Levy's going to just look at this from a financial perspective. How much more would you make from selling Kane now, as opposed to if Tottenham potentially make the Champions League and the TV money they could receive off last season and the season coming? Like there could be more money in the chance of keeping Kane and just letting him go.
There's no way. If Harry Kane stays right now, I question his ambition big time, because him and Gareth Bale are the greatest players we've had in the Premier League, right? And Modric. And look what the other two went and did. But
he wants to leave. Does Levy want to sell him over potentially?
He might not have no
choice.
He might not have a choice. If he starts down in tools and comes out.
But here's the thing: has he turned up to training for you guys?
Yeah, but what he needs to, if he wants to go,
so he's already doing more than what he did when City had interest 2 years ago. That's when he went AWOL, just started missing training and everything to try and force it. If he really wanted to leave, he would have done that again.
He doesn't. This is my point. He doesn't want to upset the fans. But at the same time, there comes to a point in your career where you're thinking, the game's about, what's the aim of elite sport? It's about winning. No one remembers 8th place in a 100-meter sprint today. No one even remembers 2nd place. We all remember Usain Bolt giving it large as he's about 5 miles ahead of everyone else. If Harry Kane is as serious and has the right mentality, you hand in a transfer request and say, I want to join Bayern Munich.
But Henry, the thing is, though, we've seen that, unfortunately, Harry Kane is the biggest loser ever. We've seen
he doesn't have the right mentality. I agree.
But like, why
Why
is this like news? Look what he's done for England. Why is it every single big moment he gets away with? Oh, it's injury. Okay, I'll give him the Champions League final.
No, he crumbles.
Yeah, but he crumbles at semi-finals, finals. How many times does this guy have to get away with it? Now, then the next thing is last season or the season before that, whatever it is, he could have gone to Man City. He didn't push the boat out enough. He doesn't have that thing in him. So this is why I keep saying, if Man United want him, if Chelsea want him, it wasn't a given that they're automatically going to win, because in those big moments, I've seen what he is. He crumbles in most of those big moments. And I'm sorry to say, he is a fantastic striker. I believe he got 7 or 5 less goals than what Haaland got last season in a shit Spurs team.
Yeah.
But I also look at him, I'm saying, I'm not going to sit here and say that his level of football will translate to trophies, because in the big moments, how do I know he's not going to fluff his lines?
I think it would, because Tottenham's mentality is different compared to
he's looking around at everyone.
I'm sorry, because we've done it for England, and that England team, that England squad, those players are very, very good players. And in that fight, that semi-final against France, I'm sorry, you don't miss the penalty. You don't miss the penalty. Listen, this is what I keep trying to say.
But that's Lee, that's harsh, man. Roberto Baggio missing the
penalty. You can have a penalty saved, but to miss it like that, that is different.
Roberto Baggio put it over the bar, bro. That's one of the greatest players we've ever seen in our life.
Listen, but Baggio won though. That's the thing.
Well, not that World Cup. That was his.
But to me, it's just like, if a guy can get you 30 goals in a league season, then they clearly are good enough to take you to a title.
Yeah, but
call it what it is. 30 goals is 30 goals in an individual.
Yeah, but no, but 30 goals. All I'm saying is, all I want to put my point across is, Harry Kane got 30 goals, and I believe he scored in like 25 games or something like that. His goals were stretched apart against most of the teams, which was fantastic. But what I'm trying to say is, when you're at Spurs, little old Spurs, there is pressure on you, but the level ramps up when you go to those bigger clubs. So how do I know in those big crunch moments that, Van Persie last minute against Man City, Henry, all those times of clutch goals, even Origi, how many clutch moments he's got for Liverpool? How do I know that Harry Kane in those big moments is going to be able to?
But they've all had better teams than any team Tottenham has.
The thing for me is the mentality. It's the mentality of the football club you're at. Tottenham's mentality is to not win trophies, is to profit as much money as we can. If he goes and joins Bayern Munich, or let's say hypothetically, let's put a hypothetical scenario. Right? Liverpool have got an entire 11. Just they need that number 9, right? And you've got Jurgen Klopp, who's won every trophy at Liverpool, and he's saying, "I need you to be the final piece of the jigsaw." You buy into that and think, right now, I want to win. Kieran Trippier, when he joined Atletico Madrid, from August the 1st until July the 1st, they were singing champions, champions. We don't care about Barcelona Madrid. We want to win. In a Tottenham environment, they don't care. And I'm not defending Harry Kane because he bottles a lot of big situations. FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea. Champions League final. Should he have played? Should he not have played? He wasn't fit. The League Cup final against Man City. The League Cup final against Chelsea. The Euro final. He goes missing in these big occasions. But for England, there's no excuse. But for club, I'm looking around if I'm Harry Kane and going, I've got Eric Dyer and Romero, who's as rash as anything, with literally no midfield. Like, unless you're Michael Jordan, how are you going to drag that team to a trophy? Like, if you look at it right now,
that is true.
Look at it right now. Liverpool need, for me, that goal scoring number 9 to win a league title. If you put Harry Kane in that Liverpool team right now, and you get a couple more midfielders to replace Henderson and Fabinho, right?
Oh yeah, I would win the league.
That Liverpool team with Harry Kane, the amount of chances they create, or the Man United team, or if he joined Arsenal, they'd be right up there for the Champions League. Looking at the football they play, they just need
I do think you're being a bit harshly in terms of you do get a lot of players that it is kind of the people they have around them. Yeah, I get it. But you look like, I mean, somebody put it in the chat a bit earlier. It might be a bit harsh to say, but Van Persie didn't necessarily look like a winner at Arsenal, went to Man United and was literally the difference. And I'll say Harry Kane is more of a goal scorer than Van Persie.
He is, but that's not what I'm saying. That's what I think two ideas are being conflated. I'm not talking about being a goal scorer. I'm talking about in the big moments, is a man going to step up? And I've seen too many times that Harry Kane, in those big moments, I can't keep looking past England. I can't keep looking past the FA Cup at a semi-final against Chelsea, the final against Man United, the other semi-final against Chelsea, the World Cup, Euros. How many big for when he was at Leicester? He's done this his whole career. How many times do I need to keep saying to this guy, to people? He's a fantastic goal scorer.
So if Harry Kane scores the winner in the League Cup next year, let's say Tottenham versus Chelsea, right? He scores the header from a corner, for instance. Does that change that entire perspective? One League Cup?
No, it's the moment. It doesn't matter about the trophies. It's the moment. So if he did big,
it does bring an argument to it.
No, that's fine. Yeah, it does. But I'm not talking about. I'm saying it's not the trophies. It's about the moments when he's scoring his goals. Is he turning up in those crunch big moments, stepping up, dragging his team through, do what Gerrard did for Liverpool against West Ham. Drag your team through to win a trophy. Do it in a big game. Just that's all I'm asking. You'll get into these moments. Only thing I'm removing is the Champions League final because he wasn't fit. I think that's unfair to judge him on that. But every other big opportunity, you can't keep removing all of these opportunities that he's had and saying that, oh, it's because of this, the team around him. But you got there. You got there. So what? So you just Man City final, you're gonna just keep being an excuse after excuse. Come on, we can't keep doing that. We can't keep moving the goalposts, man. We can't keep saying, oh, well, like this and that. That's what I'm saying. In those big moments, all I'm saying to you is it's not a guarantee that he goes to Liverpool and it makes them win the league. In my opinion, it's not a guarantee. He gets goals, but to win the league, I think there's something. And you saw Arsenal bottled it. You saw the same thing. Arsenal are a fantastic team. I'm sure most of you could say that now. We're a good team, but we bottled it in the what? Big crunch moments. Everybody kept saying squeaky bum time. The last 9-10 games, we bottled it. How do I know Harry Kane's not going to do the same? We can't keep moving the goalpost. If you're going to do that for Arsenal, you got to do it for Harry Kane. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hear that, but I do think it is a little bit harsh in terms of there's only so much one man can do, and without being disrespectful to Spurs, I think the one time when they actually had the team, he was coming back off a really serious injury, and that final against us could have been so different if he'd have been fully fit and in form at that moment. Other than that team there, he's never really truly had, do you know what I mean, a proper team behind him, and they got to the final at that moment with him playing well and scoring. I don't know. I think it is a bit harsh, but I would agree with Henry. I've been saying this for a minute. I think you go to Bayern Munich for 2 years, you win everything, you possibly
he could even come back to the Prem if he
He could
wanted
come back
to.
to Tottenham, bro. He could come back in 2
don't know,
or 3
but
years' time
I'm a
after
big.
he's won trophies and be
I'm
loyal
not a
to
huge
you.
fan though of taking a player like when they leave, like we did it at Gareth Bale. Oh, we're getting. It's not the same Gareth Bale coming back. It's a guy that's been sitting there playing with Tiger Woods every weekend. He hasn't been in Madrid. Like it's a different Bale. With Kane, I think what he desperately wants is a move to a Premier League club so he can win trophies as well as break that Premier League record. So I think if he goes to Bayern, it'll only be for a short term, 2 maximum 3 years.
Yeah, and then come back and still break the record.
And then come back. I mean, he's saying that he reckons he can play to his 37, 38 at a high level. I think what he'll do is he'll do a similar thing to Rooney where he'll tuck into midfield. Because like, the guy's distribution, the way he can spray it around is absolutely is like better than most midfielders. The way he passes the football. He'll drop deeper into a midfield role, attacking mid. Maybe not necessarily in a Postecoglou system because we're going to be heavily reliant on pace. But he'll come back and probably score 40 penalties and break it. That's probably what he'll do.
Boy, I mean, Lewis, you was saying don't touch Tony, he's yours. What I mean, Chelsea, you lot are moving extremely smart. Don't get me wrong. Like I've never seen a team who can sell a player like Chelsea. I don't know whether you lot hang people off the side of balconies. I don't know what you lot do to get people to pay you the money you want, whether it be Havertz to youth team players to like you lot get premium for every single player that leaves I think maybe Lukaku might be the only outlier of a player where you haven't got the value back.
No one wants him, sadly.
You know what I mean? But what's going on, bro? Like, why has it been so quiet? How comes Chelsea haven't been? I mean, the Caicedo thing's taking long. You clearly need a number 9. I know you've got Nkunku that's coming, but talk to me on how you're feeling about the slow process at Chelsea for incomings.
That has been a bit quiet in terms of incomings, but apparently everything's just on pause until the Caicedo deal's done. And I still have a bit of patience left with me, but I can't lie. If it gets to August, I'm going to start asking why it's taking so long. But nobody else is involved. Personal terms still agreed. Apparently, they're only just arguing about the payment structure or something. So we'll see. I guess it should get done within the next week or so, hopefully. I feel like we've been saying that for the last 3-4 weeks. But as long as he comes, I'm not going to complain about how long it takes. Pause, massive pause, but still. On the number 9 front, though, I'm still not too sure whether I want one yet because Nicholas Jackson had a great game yesterday. I know it's only Wrexham and everything. I want to see how he's like against a Premier League side, but the idea was that he was going to get pre-season to use as an opportunity to maybe be on number 9 for the rest of the season or until January where we might go for Ivan Toney ourselves because you can't get him in the summer apparently. You got to wait till January to do it. So maybe that would be a potential move for us. I'm going to wait until Saturday because we got Brighton, which is also the Caicedo derby and all of that. We'll see how he performs in that game because, again, it is Wrexham. I don't want to jump to any conclusions off it. But if he plays like he did in that game, I don't really think we need to go for a number 9. Like, he's got all the traits of someone who could be a really good centre forward. He's got the interplay, strength. He's got close control, can dribble through players and everything. Just need to see it over another couple more games to get a proper assessment of the player. But if we go for a number 9, cool. But I kind of have this feeling in my mind that the striker market next season is going to be a lot better than it is right now. Tony's going to have 1 year left if he's not already sold by then. Kane's going to potentially be on a free. Oshiman's going to have 1 year left, and Napoli will negotiate if he hasn't re-signed by then. Right now, it's just Vlahovic. Martinez isn't going to happen. Apparently, Inter have priced him out.
Apparently they want to sell like 100 million for him, didn't they? Something stupid.
Yeah, something stupid.
He's not good enough.
He's
He'd do another Higuain or Morata at Chelsea. I don't think.
Yeah, I didn't want him either. You can only play in a 2, and I need someone that can lead the line by themselves. That's the thing, though. Like the market ain't great, so I don't want Chelsea to go out there and just overspend on another striker for us to be in the same position next season. Like, get me somebody that I know is going to take us to the top. That's Kane, that's Tony, that's Oshiman, and it's better for all 3 to go for them next year as opposed to go for them now. So I get the patience. Like, as long as the midfield's sorted, and to be honest, if we're not going for a striker, we should be looking at a goalkeeper because Kepa's good enough for top 4, but we can do better than Kepa. So I'd rather we just do better than Kepa. Work on that, get a 10, and then I'm happy for next season. What?
Would you go for David Raya, who apparently he's not Brentford's number 1 anymore?
I mean, he's a good shot stopper and everything, but he just seems too similar.
What are you meant to be getting him, Henry? Wasn't Raya meant to be?
Yeah, we were, but they said they wanted 40 million, and we know what Levy's like. So we finded another cheaper alternative for who we signed from. I can't even remember now. Some Italian.
That's the Vicario guy, isn't it?
Yeah, Vicario. Yeah, and on his debut, he went to pass it out to the right back, and it went off for a corner. So we got a strap in and look forward to that.
yeah. I know Postecoglou was to play out from the back, so you got to have a keeper who's good at passing.
And we got to have centre backs on the ball. And at the moment, I'm looking. We've nearly been spending a calendar month trying to sign a 22-year-old from Wolfsburg for 30 million euros. This football club is absolutely clapped. Now, real talk. Which so-called big football club spends a calendar month signing a centre back? Admittedly, he's the Dutch under-21s captain, Mickey van der Ven, right? For 30 million euros. Why? Like, why are we? Like, it's embarrassing. Like, this football club is embarrassing. Like, they're just clapped.
I'm not gonna lie. It is kind of crazy that Levy just prioritizes. I mean, I know FSG do the same thing, and we get quite caught up as Liverpool fans of like.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you spend money, a good portion of the time you get it right. When you sold Coutinho, you bought Van Dijk and Alisson. When we sold Gareth Bale, we bought 7 scrubs and Christian Eriksen.
No, but
and you know what's mad as well? We've only spent £240 million less than Man United since the Premier League began, and we've won nothing.
Right.
Let that sink in.
That much.
I got sent it to people. Someone sent it to me on Twitter the other day, and I was like, "That can't be right." I went through transfer market. We have spent a lot of money on absolute cack.
How is that possible? Man United are constantly.
No, I think it's net spend.
I rate Tottenham fans' persistence to keep.
And then fans come out and say to me, "You're negative. You're negative." What is there to be positive? Like, real talk. What is there to be positive around, man? Like, we got a stadium. We got the longest bar of any stadium in the world. Drinks that fill up. You put your pint glass on to get your Stella, and it fills up by itself. And then you go out and watch us get pumped 7-2 by Bayern Munich. Like, real talk. And then we've got the most expensive season ticket now, other than Real Madrid. We've got the most expensive season ticket in Europe behind Real Madrid.
How much?
Like flipping the cheapest tickets, like 985 quid, and you are right. You need to get binoculars to look at the pitch.
Mine's 750.
I got offered a season ticket. I had to let them know by the 20th of June, right? And it was 1,350 quid, and they got politely told to, see you later. £1,350. We're not even in Europe.
Oh man!
But then the fans come out and say, "Oh, Henry, you're so negative." What's there to be positive? We look at the team down the road, right? That we've been better than most of the last decade, and they've stuck by their process. They've stuck by their manager, right? And now they're reaping the benefits. And we've had Trophy Mourinho. Apparently, he's going to win us the league. Conte, who's this Don, apparently, and we've watched absolute Brexit ball.
I got sacked the week of the final.
Sheffield United, right, on a Tuesday night to watch us counter-attack Sheffield United. Like, on a Tuesday night in a pissing down rain, and then on the way out, a Sheffield United fan was laughing at me.
I must admit, the moment that you guys, well, I say you guys, it's just Levy. I know he takes the brunt. The moment Levy was more interested in saving the money he would have had to pay Mourinho for winning the trophy than he was actually winning the trophy, I knew Tottenham fans needed to give up on there being any.
They should have rioted in 2008.
That day. 2008. We should have gave up on this guy. We had Martin Yole, who had us playing the best football in years, and he sacked the fucker at half time. Who sacks a manager at half time?
Who still keeps this guy employed?
Well, this guy gave himself a 550,000.
Wait, just to be sure, is he the owner or what? Is there someone higher up?
Tottenham are owned by ENIC, which stands for English National Insurance Company, and he's the minority shareholder of about 34%. And our owner Joe Lewis isn't even allowed in the country for tax reasons. He's got a yacht the size of my fucking road, right? He's not allowed. He's about 89 years of age. He don't care what we're doing. All he's just seeing is Levy find all these little different revenue holes, right? You know that Beyonce tour we had, 5 days, we could have bought a centre-back. The amount of money that stadium generated in 5 days from Beyonce, we could have bought Mickey van der Ven, and now we're pissing around 25 days later, and we're what is an advanced talk, by the way? We've been in advanced talk for this season for 4 weeks.
I said a second day.
Yeah, that's normally like advanced talk.
What would you say that is like?
You've made it to second base now,
day.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like you got
to
kiss
take
on the
the goal
door,
home this time.
say goodbye. Yeah, like I don't know, man. I don't know, man. But back to Chelsea. Lewis, who isn't behind? Because I think it'll be a better question. I think there'll be less. Who isn't behind Poch? Because from what I've seen, the majority of the fan base are behind Poch. But is there anyone who
most of our fan base are behind him as well? By the way,
really?
No, but he's a Spurs legend, isn't it?
What Tottenham fan wants Pochettino to do well? Because if Poch does well, that means you lot do well. So what clapped human being goes, oh, I hope Poch does well there? Why? For what?
You know what it is?
They haven't Champions League.
They haven't felt winning, so they want to win through a player or a coach instead.
Lewis, our fans were burning his book and burning signed merch because he joined your lot. Let's be real. It's not our fault that you went and signed him.
Mm-hmm. He wanted to join you first. It was Levy.
Daniel Levy decided to go and buy. I like Postecoglou now, but we interviewed about half of bloody London to go and get a manager that was not even in the country. Club's a joke, man.
Fucking hell, man. And here's me complaining about 40 points a few months ago. Shit, I don't know.
I'm not going to lie. Every time I feel bad about Liverpool, I always think how Tottenham, and I don't even mean this as a piss take, I always think how must it feel to start every season knowing
and you got Aston Villa going and putting 50 million down on Diaby and we can't get a centre-back. It's a joke.
Villa are moving different. Villa are moving different. I'm not gonna lie. Villa do look like they're to be taken seriously this season. Like
they're gonna win the Conference League with Unai, and then what are we doing? Like, what genuinely? Where do you lot think Spurs are going to finish next season? Because if we don't get centre backs and Kane goes, I'm not genuinely not taking them. We're in a relegation battle.
No. I wouldn't go.
If we don't get centre backs and Kane goes. Right.
You got to deep how competitive the Premier League is now. If they don't get centre backs and there's no Kane, they're doing the same thing I was doing. Road to 40 points.
No, worse, much worse.
I do think your managers are actually a lot better than what. It's funny because you can't get any worse than what you were last season. Same for Chelsea. So you're obviously going to improve. I just think that you will. I said it the other day. I just think that capture shot of what you did against West Ham is going to be your season. You're going to have moments of 4-3 games, 5-3 games, losing or winning. You're going to have moments of real inconsistency from some of your top players. I believe even someone like Maddison, I think he's a good player, but too many times he has games of clusters which are good, and then he has stretches where he's not so good in a season. And I just think that your defense, it's really, really poor. I think even that Mickey van der Ben, whatever his name is, I've seen a little bit of him. He looks rapid, but doesn't look that great. I've seen him getting turned in and out a few times. So even that, maybe I wouldn't even be too worried if you don't get him. The Tapsoba looks good, but we
ain't starting a Tapsoba. I can see that.
I don't know. I just don't know if you keep Kane, I think you'll have a good season. I think you're going to have a much better season than what people give credit for. I'll be honest. I think you'll have a better season than Chelsea actually if you keep Kane. So.
It's interesting now though because Europa League will be 6th and 7th. Because now you've got the top 5, because we will be one of the 2 top teams that's going to get 5. So top 5 gets Champions League this year. So now that would mean, unless you win a cup, 6th and 7th go into Europe, possibly even 8th, depending on if someone wins. So Tottenham are definitely going to be in Europe.
Doesn't 8th get Conference League?
Yeah, 8th will get Conference League. You're definitely going to be in Europe. Postecoglou, Lee's right. He's a good manager, and he's going to make you play the type of football.
But he needs the tools to do the job. You can't polish a turd. Like 70% of our squad is like I wouldn't even expect Sunday League to be that bad. Like the likes of Eric Dyer, Sanchez, Perisic, who gives a 33-year-old 180 grand a week? Like, what football club does that? Undon Bele, I got all the fans coming out telling me, let's see how he gets on. He gets injured in training. He's made of breadsticks. What's the point?
Well, is he injured now? Yeah,
he got injured. He got injured putting a cross into Harry Kane in training, right? And I see all these Spurs fans. Don't get me wrong. He's got the technical ability. He's better than probably 80% of the league technically, but the best ability is availability. And if you're only available for 15 minutes every game, what's the point? Then I look at it up front without Kane. If Son has another purple patch and Kane's not there, are we expecting R9 to score our goals? Because he scored one goal. Eric Dyer scored more Premier League goals in this game.
We have a striker for sale. I don't know if
it's that bad.
Kane Lukaku flopping everything, but
I genuinely
another R9. You've got two R9s.
I mean, if you look at the situation though of how much of like up and down Tottenham season was, I can't stand Richarlison. I really can't. But I think under a proper manager, I still think he does get you maybe 10 to 15 goals. Because if you look at his record at Watford and Everton, he did still score a lot of goals. Even for Brazil, he scores goals. Do you know what I mean?
He scored 12 goals in that Everton shirt and 6 were penalties. 4 were against the bottom 3. You're playing in a team where you are now going to be the number 9, right? You can have Maddison and Kulusevski feeding you balls. This geezer had 7 chances against West Ham. And honestly...
But pre-season, we can't go too much.
I hear that. But no, real talk, Harry Kane on his left foot scores 5 of those. I'm looking at Richarlison going, show me something. You've been having this no off season, no days off, all these little buzzwords you keep peddling. Go and show me something against Leicester. I'm expecting at least 2 goals because apparently he's going to start. So go and show me why, for whatever reason, we spent £60 million on you. I thought Everton were bad paying 50 from Watford. We went, do you know what? Let's chuck an extra 10 million on top of it. Like, real talk. I want to see you go and get 2 or 3 goals against Leicester. Then we got to play some Singapore binman called Lion City or whatever it is. Go and get a couple more. Start building your confidence. Get the manager to put his arm around him. And against Brentford, go and bag. And then let's see what you've got. But at the moment, like me and Toby's have had this debate for the last year. Look, Toby's opinions are pretty normally spot on, but this Richarlison train, like I don't know, man. Like,
bro, he told me Perisic was going to be a great player because he was player of the season at Inter Milan. Listen, mate, this guy, I'll be honest with you, bro. All he does is just shout, mate. He chats a bunch of shit. I'll be honest with you, and I can say
a lot of his opinions.
I can say that because I know Toby. I can say that because I know him, so it's all right. But he chats a bunch of waffle, mate. He goes on, and all he does is just try to be the loudest in the room with absolute no sense, mate. I wouldn't listen to anything he says. He talks about Richarlison. He spoke about how Lloris was one of the best keepers ever. All of this.
Oh, you got Lloris, man. Jesus Christ.
Listen, I'll be honest with you, mate. Spurs, this is what you get. Like, even it was only last season, you won the transfer window, right?
Yeah, you got Jamie O'Hara peddling it out in the new Spurs, giving it large and in charge. He's out here and right, by the way. Comes out and hit every 5 minutes. Like,
listen, mate, I just think you need to take it. That's it.
What football club does Richarlison start for in the Premier League in the top 10? Name one. I bet you can't.
Chelsea, he does. He plays for Chelsea.
No. Before we got Nicholas Jackson, I would have taken him. No, not anymore.
He don't get in.
Would you really, Lewis? Would you?
Last season, I would have taken Richarlison any day of the week. Any day of the week.
It's only because you had Havertz up front and you don't like him. But
you don't know how bad that season was, bro. No, like all the bad strikers in the world, man. No, he was way worse. Way worse. We suffered.
Real talk, in that top 10 last season, so you got Villa, Watkins is better, Fulham, Mitrovic is better. You don't get in any of the top 6 teams, not even his own team, right? Who else? Brighton, you take in whoever they've got. Ferguson, you go further down. Palace, does he start at Crystal Palace?
Yeah,
like you're questioning it.
Yeah, he does. He starts for Palace.
Over. I don't even know they've got Eduardo.
I mean, whoever it is, he would start at Palace. Yeah,
so he gets in. So we're talking about a Crystal Palace level player that we've paid £60 million for.
Right. When you put it like that, that's deep. I'm not.
And every time he scores, he's taking his shirt off. He's giving it large and in charge. This geezer is that shameless. He's got a tattoo of himself next to Neymar on his back, right? And then he knee slides, and then it's offside. Like,
oh man, you know what? We got to talk about Man United and Man City before we wrap it up. You know what? I'll start with Lewis on the Man United situation, because they're another club that are searching for a striker. You aren't the only club that need a forward right now. They need a forward. What do you think about them chasing Højbjerg so like much, and it looks like they might be paying 60 mil for him or more, and prioritizing, you know, other positions before a certain foot? Like, what do you think Man United are doing at the moment, bro?
You know how I said the striker market looks a lot better next year? This is another example of it. Like 80 million for, what was it, Højbjerg, or something similar for Kolo Muani. Good strikers in the making, but like I'm not completely sold on them as transfers that could succeed immediately for Man United, which is kind of what they need right now. I guess it's good for the long-term process and everything, but neither of them really wow me, or they don't really strike me as experienced options. So I don't know if they do well for them on the off, but I guess they would fit Ten Hag's style of play and they'd be able to play a little bit better. But the biggest thing for them is the DM. They need to sort another DM. If they can get cover for Casemiro, then I'd be a little bit worried about them. But until then, I think they're one Casemiro injury or suspension away from being very easy to get at. Obviously, that could change depending on new signings and everything. But as of right now, I'd focus on the midfield before I focus on the attack. They can get a good amount of goals off Rashford. They don't need to rush into the market and just get a striker that's potentially unproven. That's why we're waiting. But let them do what they want. Maybe they'll succeed. Maybe they won't. But the striker market to me just looks a bit meaty right now. I won't lie.
No, I hear you on that.
I will say for sure, I think the biggest disappointment is going to be Man United next season. I think Newcastle will also be disappointing, but I don't think it's going to hit as hard, because it's right now it's the old Newcastle that are trying to, you know, get up to the certain level. I think for sure Man United are going to be in some big trouble. They're given a lot of talk, but I don't see why. I don't see where they're kind of getting this chat from. I think they've got some decent additions, but nothing to shout home about. Now, what I will say is, not every single player has to be a world beater. Not every single player has to be, you know, the biggest star, because Arsenal didn't do that with Ramsdale, with Ben White. We didn't do that. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's a names thing. I think Onana looks nice. Mount, similar to Havertz, maybe. I just don't get him. I don't get him as a footballer. You're asking a lot to have, you know, the likes of Rashford could replicate what he did again. So, Sancho, Anthony, the manager, I'm not too sure on him still. I really don't. I know he won, but I'm not that high up on him. I really think Man United are in trouble. I really do. And getting that Haaland guy in, I've seen a little bit of him. He looks quite good. He gets in behind.
He scored 8 goals last season.
Yeah, he's a young kid. He's a young kid, and that's a lot to ask.
Is Amrabat going Man United? A lot of people in the chat are talking about Amrabat. Are they about to get him? Yeah. Is this
They're in advanced talks, whatever that is, with him.
You see, for me personally, maybe it's perfect for Man United. I don't think Amrabat is of a certain level if you want to win those big trophies. I guess he will improve them though, because he's better than McTominay and he's better than Fred, so it will boost up their levels. When Liverpool were linked with Amrabat, I thought it would have been a good stopgap player, but I would have looked at him the way I think Arsenal looked at Jorginho, like not like he's going to take us to the promised land. It will be a good player to just have around the squad though. So I don't quite know how much that takes, but I could be wrong. Like, you know, maybe Amrabat ends up being an absolute done for Man United, but I don't think that's the kind of signing that like elevates you to like Premier League, Champions League winning. Do you get what I mean? Like, I think it just makes you a bit better than you were, kind of thing.
That's the thing. I think Man United needed to go out and get some. They don't need to get cherry on top kind of players right now because they're not there. Arsenal needed to get cherry on top kind of players, because we're at a point where we're trying to push up to get closer to Man City to win, you know, and improve the squad depth. But I just look at them and I'm like, even the Bruno being captain, I don't get it. Like, I really don't. I'm not sure why he's been made captain. But listen, he could be the best out of a bad bunch. I like the centre back pairing, but I just don't think they've done enough. And again, it's hard because Chelsea are in the same position. You can't get strikers because there aren't many. We're lucky that we've even got Jesus, who's not even that elite or of a profile right now. So, yeah, I'll be honest. I think Man United are going to be in some trouble next season. But listen, it's there for for them to try and up the levels. I don't see it happening, but yeah, let's see.
Let me just set up a couple of these supers before we just finish up on Man City. Jamrock, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I have no idea what's going on with the United sale. I know I saw you put that in. I don't know. That's we haven't got a Man United member of the panel, unfortunately, tonight. But I will be trying to get one for next week so we can maybe have a talk with him and find out exactly what is going on with that. Hit 44 says Sol Campbell is talking to Kane about Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie, that would be crazy if that actually did happen. Big up Chombe as always. Says big up to all of you from Ethiopia and Drift. How about the 50?
Big up, bro. Big up.
The 52 mil plus Lavia money for Caicedo. Chombe, I 100% have no idea why Liverpool aren't getting involved while Chelsea haven't secured the bag. He's too rich for our blood. That's the only thing I could say. But I don't know, bro. Caicedo's the one I want, and Chelsea seem to be stalling.
That's why I'm so chill about this whole thing, because if someone else came in, then I'd be worried. Until then, it's just us. Could get this done soon.
Yeah. And El Tair, big up, bro. Says Amrabat at the 6 is the move. No good 6 around would be a great short term for about 1 to 2 years until we get a certified DM. Amrabat then becomes a squad. That's kind of what I was just saying. Yeah, like I think he comes in and he's a good squad player. I wouldn't want him to be the guy to like take us to the promised land or anything like that. I don't quite think he's of that level, but I could be wrong. But yeah, big up to all the supers. So yeah, just to finish up on City, guys. I'll start with you on this one, Henry, and then work round. City is crazy. Like they are losing a lot of players. And I think it might be just Guardiola and what they've done why they're so calm and maybe we don't think it'll be a big deal. But if you really deeper, like I was sitting there last night and I was thinking to myself, Mahrez, absolute baller, one of the best right wingers in world football, winner, leaving, possibly still
big game player as well.
Big game player as well. Silva looks like he could be on his way out. Big game player, been a part of the furniture, sets the tempo for the press. Big player for them. Gundogan, one of their best ever captains, clutch. All of their big moments in the last few years he's been a part of. He's gone. If Walker goes, we all know he's easily one of the best right backs in the league still. In my opinion, the best right back of all time in the Premier League. If he goes, it's a big mentality leaving. It's a big player leaving. Are we like Laporte? If Laporte goes, top player.
The thing is, though, like all these players can leave, but they've got the best of the best running their football club. Like the guy who deals with all their operations, Tixie Birkenstein, who's the one who created La Masia, right? He knows football better than most people on this planet. They've got the best manager, right? In terms of what he wants. He's going to change his style. He's going to go to 4 centre-backs. They're bringing in Vardy out, who probably will be the best centre-back in the world alongside Saliba in the next 24 months. Right? He's an absolute Rolls Royce. We saw him at the World Cup. They will replace these players. And I'm sure they've got something in that academy that will come up. Like you'll see a lot more Rico Lewis now. He'll get a lot more game time. There'll be other players and they will have already identified targets. Like Man City aren't a club in the transfer market. If they test the waters of a lot of players, but they know who they really want. If they really wanted Declan Rice, they'd have paid the money.
Yeah,
but Arsenal went, he's our player. We want Declan Rice, he's our player. See you later. Like they did it with Harry Maguire. They put the money on the table, but never really went full balls in, pause.
Yeah.
They did it with Ronaldo. They put the money on the table, never really ran in. City will identify players. And let's be honest, other than Mendy, how many players has Guardiola really messed up at Man City? And that weren't even his fault. That was off-field matters. How many players? And when they do mess it up, they just cash in for even more money than they got. Sane, Torres, Zinchenko, Jesus. Right? They're a very good club when it comes to selling players. So they'll replace, like everyone's saying Vardy is not done. They'll get him. If not, they'll go and buy a centre-back just as good. They'll already, Like their scouting network is a joke. Like look at Alvarez, a little gem come out of Argentina. He could possibly play on the right now. They've got the best coaches. Like their coaching system is a joke. How many players has Guardiola and his team not improved in the last 2 years?
No, but if you're looking at it from a Liverpool and an Arsenal standpoint, because
You
they're
should be
probably
excited, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be the two closest teams to Man City. You're looking at it on the face of it right now, because that's all we can do is look at it right now, and you're losing a serial winner. Now, if they bring in Rico Lewis, it goes back to the same Kane thing. You haven't been there and done it. You ain't a seasoned vet to kind of keep plugging away. Foden, fantastic, but does he do it over the course of a season? Every season, we've seen De Bruyne do it. We've seen in the clutch moments, miss the clutch step up. He's now gone in Gundogan. So I just think that what happens, what we're looking at is all right, Arsenal haven't lost anyone of credibility right now, and we've only added, you could say actually, we've actually added to the squad and we look a lot better, and we're still that tight unit of a club, of a team. You look at Liverpool, they've added a few nice pieces as well in midfield, and obviously up front they've got 5 players who I would probably say go up there in a bunch of best forwards in the world as a collective, I would say. So you look at that, and they hoping that Klopp comes back and shows that he's the top manager that he is consistently throughout the season. So I do think that there's a little bit more optimism from the two clubs to say that Man City they're not falling off, but they're just opening the door. They're opening the door for these clubs right now. They could get I don't know. I saw someone talking about Rafael Leao from AC Milan. They could get
80 million or something.
A fantastic player. He would be great. So,
oh my God, is that the talk? They're going to try and go and get Leao.
That's apparently their Mahrez replacement.
Yeah, if they get him again.
City, when it comes to
Leao on the right.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'll say. That would be like Leao.
I just think but that's the thing. I just think when you're losing all these big players, and I don't think Bernardo Silva's going to go. I think Laporte could go, but I don't know. When you've won the treble as well, I'm only asking, does motivation drop a little bit as well? Like,
yeah, but I hear that, and you'd think you'd won it all. So what's your spark to go again? But
yeah,
this is Guardiola. Like,
no,
he's the best man manager on the planet. He will be able to get. He'll be like a new challenge. Let's do the 4-peat. No one's ever done that. Like,
I think that's the only motivation he has. I think if that wasn't a record he could chase, I think he might struggle to motivate them just for this 1 year. But the fact that is something, you're right. He's going to be like, God, we do this, and Man United can't even talk to us. We erase all of Ferguson's kind of like aura over the Premier League if we go and win 4 in a row, because we've done the treble, we've done a domestic treble, which Fergie never done. If we go and get the 4 in a row, I think they're
making smart signings.
In my opinion,
like, Kovacic is a smart signing. Can play the 6. Obviously, he won't because Rodri's there. Can play the 8. Experienced. That's a good signing. Vardial and Ruben Diaz is the best centre-back partnership in the world, right? You got Edison sitting behind, and you're going to have the centre-backs that will play left-back and right-back. They've got the best goal-scoring number 9 on the planet. They've got Grealish and Foden. They will need to replace Mahrez. De Bruyne will still be there. You're probably right, Lee. Silva will probably still be there as well. So we're only really talking about replacing Gundogan and Mahrez. I know that's obviously big replacements to do because they're your big game players. I think Mahrez is their highest scorer in the Champions League other than Haaland the last 2 seasons. But this is City we're talking about. It's not like Tottenham replacing Harry Kane where you're going, Jesus, what are we doing? Or if Liverpool trying to replace Salah. Like, this is Man City. They how many times do they get it wrong? But there is a point there. Liverpool and Arsenal and maybe other clubs will be thinking, hang on, the door's opening for us. Let's go and capitalise. It wouldn't surprise me, right, if Arsenal go and sell Balogun and sign that, is it Kudus from Ajax, who's a player?
Oh, mate. Listen, I tweeted it yesterday. Well, I didn't actually say it. If we get Kudus from Ajax, I'll say we'll win the league. I will. I think he just puts us over the edge. I think
he's multiple positions as well.
He's so good, man. That guy is ridiculously good. He plays centre mid, attacking mid. He can play right. He can play left. False number 9. He's strong. He's almost got a bit of. He's just good. He is absolutely so good, man. He's so good. If we somehow get that guy, I say we win the league. I'll say it. I don't mind. I think he's that good.
Boy, I mean, just quickly, Lewis, based off of what everybody said, which are very good points, is there also an element that you would believe with Man City that it takes quite a while normally for you to actually get what Guardiola wants you to do? So nobody doubts the genius. It's obvious. But if you look at quite a lot of their players, they do need 6 months to 12 months to fully get it. If they've got this many changes all at once, could it be too much all at one time in terms of them being able to do those 20-game runs and all that? Or do you think, nah, they'll just figure it out as Pep?
Maybe, but like when you have the other players like De Bruyne, Haaland, and Grealish, I feel like they can still be able to get by on that. And also with the defense, as long as they get the Vardiol deal done, they could 1-0 their way through everything if they really wanted to. Like that defense is fucking crazy now. So yeah, I'm not too worried. I wouldn't be too worried about that, to be honest. Maybe, but yeah. I think
I'm just trying to give everyone else a bit of hope that maybe City might just not be of that level. Do you know what I mean?
I'll be honest. I you know what? I'm gonna say it. I don't mind. You know me. I say whatever I feel like. I don't think Man City will win the league next season. I really don't. I really don't.
Okay.
I think they're gonna have a season like when you won the league, and they're gonna drop off quite early actually as well. I really don't see it happening.
Aren't they looking at Lavia now as well?
I don't really care who they get. I just think I've never seen a team win the league 4 times in a row. So that's my first point. I don't think there's nothing wrong with saying that because it's never happened in the Premier League. I've never seen someone win the league 4 times in a row. So by just bare default, I don't believe that they're going to do it. So I really don't think that I don't think that Man City are going to win it. I'm not saying Arsenal are going to win it, but I just don't think that Man City will win it.
That would be interesting. We've never, ever in Premier League history had an Arsenal versus Liverpool title race. That would be a mad one still.
Listen.
That would be a mad one.
Let me tell you now. Listen, you see all of this nicety shit right now. Listen,
is this you being nicely? Yeah, is it?
I've been all right, bro. I've been all right, but I'm telling you now, if any of this fucking Liverpool shit come up in the league and you lot think you're going to win the league over Arsenal, calm.
That's when the chest comes out. Hey, you know what?
If it comes down to it, the greater good.
I don't know if you and I'm not even just saying this because Lewis is here. People in the chat can say I've said this many times. I really don't know why everybody's sleeping on Chelsea. I'm not saying they're going to win the league, but why is one game a week for a manager of Pochettino's level with the squad that they've got? Why is everybody acting like there isn't a possibility?
Yeah, but that's what Poch wants. The less you talk about it, the more he'll deliver. When the pressure's on that guy,
how much did you look? But you know what, Lewis is smart. But you know what it is. Lewis, I swear that people don't understand how smart Lewis is. Lewis is the smartest guy on the internet. I'm telling you, this guy is too smart. I'm telling you, people don't understand. Yeah, people look at him and think, he's just like you cool, calm, collected. No, he's a smart guy. But I ain't gonna say too much because Drifty, you said it.
Give me a game at a time.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, that was me last season.
No, you're not. So deep down, you kind of know this could be a banging season list, but you don't want to get too ahead of yourself.
Well, the bar's in hell, innit? So like, it can't get worse. I would hope not, but I don't think we're going near the title. I'll be real with you. If we have a brilliant start to the season, I still probably won't. So it'll have to take me to February, March-ish to be really serious about us being in a title race if we're around that conversation. But for me, it remains the same target. Give me top 4. Give me the domestic cups as long as we don't face City. And I
think Chelsea are an absolute shoo-in for top 4. Right. Absolute shoo-in for top 4.
The top 4 race is looking competitive. I won't because I keep thinking that City are going to piss the league. And if that's the case, then this is going to be a fat top 4 race for the whole season.
Well, it's top 5 as well. That's what's good about this year. It's top 5. Top 5 gets Champions League, so that extra spot. Do you know what I mean? It makes it a little bit more. And just I totally forgot before, but just quickly before we do end up, the Fofana news is kind of devastating. Still, I can't even lie. That might even just I feel for the kid, man. We're talking about the kid who was going to be arguably one of the best centre backs in the world for potential, and 2 bad knee injury. Like, what do you think the situation is going to be with him, bro?
Like, we got him for 6 years, innit? So we're gonna have to stick it out for the long run. But he has age on his side, I guess. Like, I think he'd be good depth for us if it came to that point. But like we have other centre backs here already. We still have Thiago Silva, Colwill, Badiashile, and Chalobah. People were happy to go into next season with Fofana instead of Chalobah, and Chalobah being sold. But I've always believed that Chalobah's a very underrated centre back. 8 times out of 10, he gives me a good performance, and he's versatile.
I'll take Chalobah at Spurs. I'll tell you that.
Right back. Yeah, he would start for about not every team. I wouldn't say you guys' teams or everything. Maybe Tottenham, but half the teams in the league I could see Chalobah walking into. He's a very good centre back. So with 1 game a week and the fact that you don't necessarily need to rotate that much, especially at the back line, it should be fine as long as we don't have an injury scare. 5 would be ideal, but you can get by with 4 as long as nothing crazy happens. So I'm not too annoyed about it on the pitch. I feel terrible for Fofana off the pitch. He's got the worst luck with injuries. This is like his 7th knee injury now. But we're fine in the centre-back front. If we need to go for one, we will, but I wouldn't be annoyed if we didn't. I think the 4 we have now is enough to go through the season with.
How much is it going to take to get Colwill? Let's talk.
No, he ain't for sale, bro. He ain't for sale, straight up. Sorry, man. I know Liverpool been looking at him, but nope.
Why do you need Colwill when Van Dijk? He's back now, right? He had an off season, so he's back now, right?
Because you learn from your mistakes, Lee, and you bring him in a year or 2 before you want to replace him, so he's already ready to go.
No, but he's only got. I think he's only got 2 years left, so you might as well.
Yeah. So I'm saying Lewis might have to accept he will become a Liverpool player.
So you might as well just.
No, but he doesn't necessarily want to join Liverpool. What he wants is just minutes. And now Fofana's out. Now Badiashile's out. He couldn't ask for an easier route back into the team now. For me. Now Fofana's gone. This is just confirmed he ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. I knew it wasn't happening anyway. Chelsea don't negotiate. As I said, you're the best.
Plus, he's here for 2+1. We could literally just tell him you're not going anywhere, and that's it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay, I was just thinking that, because Van Dijk's back now, so hopefully
he is back. He is.
Oh yeah, listen, I know. Listen, I can't wait. Listen, I know Liverpool got all of these things going on. Klopp, he's gonna have his formations back now, the tactical flexibility. Van Dijk's back. He had 8 games at the end of the last season where he was good all of a sudden, so he's back.
Sleep on us at your peril.
What was the other thing that I saw online? Trent's cut his hair to the 19-20 season, so he's back.
He means
he's back. What was the Gakpo? He's gonna explode all of a sudden this season, so he's gonna come back.
He's already exploded.
If Fabinho's legs haven't gone, so he doesn't matter if he goes or if he stays. It doesn't matter, right?
Lee's loving this, isn't he? Look.
No, do you know what? I remember this chest last summer as well.
Henderson was topless in pre-season, so he's back now. He's training hard, but he's going anyway, right? So it doesn't matter. So no more hoofball, right? McAllister's the goal scorer, so he's gonna get you 12 goals in the league as well, right? See this season? No.
Bruv, you can't draw me out, bruv. You can't draw me out.
I can't wait for
keep this energy, though, bruv.
I can't wait for the Arsenal, Liverpool, the little rivalry next season, because we're going to be top of the league. Because I don't think Man City will be there. So, you've got 1 game a week pretty much until February, because you're in Europa League, so you can play Harvey Elliott and all of those lots. So,
you know what? I was just about to wrap up, but we might have a little madness at the end because Cap has jumped in. What's going on? Unexpected. What's happening?
I had to fit. I can't lie. I was planning to come about 15 minutes ago, and then Dawood was doing so well, and then he said one thing, and it changed everything. And
what did he say this time?
Go watch the stream. That's the way people can watch the stream. It's just a little promotion there.
Plug. Fez.
And while I've got you here, bro, we did have a question you can actually answer for us. What's happening with the takeover at Man United, bro?
Yeah.
just nothing.
I think only journalists currently, and also people, they're going to be very alike in terms of just putting their opinions. It's just an opinion. It's an opinion game. Like, my opinion is Glazers can't stay because they can't afford infrastructure or nothing, or can't even get loans for it because it's impossible at this moment in time. They won't accept it. So there's too much to be done. It's just what I think this is business tactics. They're going to make someone pay up. Someone's going to pay up. And now the Arabs are fully in, I just don't see them coming out of the deal. But if they do get pushed, if you keep pushing further and further, someone's going to give in, whether it's one or the other. I'm not going to say it anymore. I don't know. This is just all opinion.
So are you boycotting Man United's shirt this season by wearing the Leon one? Is that what it is?
100%. Hey, bro, I can't lie. I got about 5 shirts. I've got the new, the green one and all that is banging. Trust me. I get all my. I don't get none of my stuff from there.
What's that? Green and gold until they're sold. Yeah, green and gold until they're sold.
Oh, bro, you see this stuff? You already hear it. I just want
Someone on this pod, someone was chatting about your team though, saying that you're gonna have a poor season. But
let me have a guess. 1 sec. I don't think it's Lewis.
it definitely weren't me. So and I just letting you know.
Wait, what?
I did somebody say? I don't even remember what.
I'm gonna believe it's gonna be. It's probably Lee.
I don't know, mate.
Did somebody shade Man United earlier? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Lee. It was Lee.
Don't shoot. Listen,
I think
don't
it was
shoot
Henry
the
by now.
messenger, bro. Don't shoot the
I
messenger.
feel like I know Henry enough by now. Henry wouldn't. Like the way Henry would make it come across would be nice. Like it's all right. He supports something. Like who would I know?
I'm too worried about my own club, let alone Man United.
Yeah, exactly. And then Lewis is a nice guy, man. He's cool, isn't it? He can't really say much.
Actually, no. I said depending on transfers. Depending.
Yeah, but it's just like any club, anything that's dependent. Drifty. No, Drifty's quite positive. Lee just don't like nobody else but Arsenal. And then when a team's doing a little bit all right or down in the dumps, it's like, yeah, I've got a bit of a soft spot for them.
Yeah. Lee will only back you when you're in the mud. Yeah. That's 100% Lee. If your club's in the mud, Lee will back me like, nah, man.
That answers a lot of questions, actually.
Yeah.
I just beat it.
I'm here, as you know me, man. I just don't shoot the messenger, man. I just relay what God tells me to say, and I just share the good news, man. Share the good news.
What about when it's bad times? Why didn't you come on and own it?
I was here. Listen, I'm always here, man. Listen, we spoke about Liverpool before you was here. Like Liverpool are back. We said, listen, going to be an Arsenal and Liverpool title race.
You messed up, I guarantee if they messed up, yesterday and did not beat that MLS team with Benteke and next man I've never heard of before, on live, he would not be here.
No, to be fair to Lee, he actually did show up in all the big moments during the season.
No, he did not. No, he didn't. We were here. We were here live. Me and Dapson, we've been waiting. Sometimes he hasn't showed up to about 2 or 3 streams.
I gotta say, listen, I've got live date night happens, but I don't know what about you. But
I don't remember Lee missing a stream. I can't lie.
You remember you had a bit of a break. Do you remember that part, Drifter? You had a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. That break. Lee also had a break sometimes.
Okay.
So West Ham, notably, Southampton, maybe. Do you remember that one, Lee? Didn't see you.
I was here. I don't know. But listen,
man. He's a quality guy.
Listen, like, I'm here to, listen, as I said, I'm just relaying the information that Drifty said, that Liverpool are back. Man United may not, he didn't say it, but Man United might have a good season. Henry's admitted that, Spurs are shit. And Lewis,
I disagree.
They're going to be in the top 4.
Underrated, 100%.
I'm glad.
I hear what you're saying, Cash, but we got a lot of problems, bro. Like, centre-backs are...
You'll be all right. The only one that you got to worry about is your goalkeeper. Catching one... 4 total shots on target, 1 only save, and the other 3 were goals. They were good goals though, but
the club's
looking good. The guy needs to come off his line a little bit, please. He's on his line. He's looking like Fabian Barthez. Like, what's he doing?
It's embarrassing. And then we need centre backs. We get centre backs, everything improves. If we don't, it's peak. 10 out of 10.
Stop, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, Henry. I gotta apologize. I didn't know you would get this much abuse on your debut.
This is the standard day Spurs. This is nothing.
I can't wait for Wednesdays. You know what time? Around 5:50 when we're gonna have a permanent rivals with Lewis. That it's gonna be chaos. It's gonna be chaos. I can't wait.
I do think Spurs go in the bracket with Chelsea, as I was saying before, where I say obviously he's not as good of a manager as Poch is. But the no games during the week and having the 5 days to train the team, I think people are really sleeping on how much a new manager can flourish and actually benefit from that. And I think Postecoglou and Poch are going to do way better than people think, based on the fact that they are going to be able to train every day, get the players in, no distraction, take the domestic cups more seriously because you don't have that European distraction. I think people are sleeping on it. I do. I really do think, like, even for example, Villa are obviously looking really good at the moment, but European football for Villa is still very different. I know they've got Emery, but it's still very different for them as a team to be playing.
They're showing ambition, aren't they? They're going out and getting Diaby.
They are.
I fully agree. Brighton and Villa will have their drop-offs. Newcastle will have that little bit of a drop-off. That's Harvey Barnes and Tonali. Am I meant to believe that?
What about Man United?
No, I think again, right as it currently stands right now, Man United also will drop off with no striker and no backup DM, which is the main hurt of the team. It's going to be
Apparently, you're in advanced talks to bring in Amrabat, bro. The people have been saying it.
Please, I am begging this club. This club never makes any sensible signings. I've seen the Nana. I don't know what's going on in negotiations at Man United, but it's good stuff at the moment. I can't believe we might have 3 players before the end of July, right?
What's your thoughts on that striker for 70 mil or whatever it's going to be?
Nah, we won't. He will come in for around 55, man.
8 goals last season, though. I mean,
okay, the market stinks. We're all buying potential out there. I even said I'd rather even go for someone like Balogun because I think Balogun is wicked. 40 million for Balogun right now in potential market is a steal. In my opinion, I think his movement.
Would Arsenal sell him to you?
You guys, I gotta bounce onto another stream.
Big up, Lewis, bro. Big up.
It's like I rate quite a lot of the youngers, man. Like Broya. I don't know much about Jackson. I only saw him a couple times. Couldn't say much about like Broya. Injury crisis. Nketiah, is still quite young. I still think he's got a part to play in Arsenal's team. Balogun, rate him. From what I've seen of Hoyland, can't say I'm a massive scout of him. Still kind of rate him. Kolo Muani, rate him. But he's 24. He's not catching on, but he's a bit older than he. In today's market, it's all about potential. There's the number 9. We spoke about it loads of times, Henry. It smells. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the market stinks. There's like 5 players.
The thing is, it's like when Man United, because you know when we was linked with Alvarez, we meant to get for 15 million. We said no, and then 1 year later, he's worth about 115 million. That's the difference. So if you pay 55 million today, next market, he might be worth about 100 if he goes and bangs in 20 goals. And Bob's your uncle after that. That's what I think.
It's going to be interesting.
Should have just bought Nunes, right?
But you're not going to draw me out today, Lee.
Hold on. You should have just bought Gakpo then. Why didn't you buy him?
Who me?
I don't know, Man United.
Oh no, because we were broke. We were meant to get him, but we were broke. We were too broke to go get him. They actually weren't broke. They just didn't. Because of all the takeover talk, it's their excuse to not spend any money.
Listen, man, as I said, you had 2 options there. You should have got one of them.
I mean, why you could have got Caicedo 80 million though in January. Now he looks like a steal, don't it?
Listen, they didn't want to sell. Listen, they didn't. When you didn't push hard enough, we tried. They didn't want to sell.
Because they wanted 80 million. You only put 70 million. You could have gone for 80 million, and I think 80 million Caicedo.
No, we put the money down in it, but they just said we're not selling. Because you remember he handed in the transfer. He did the thing on Instagram. There was like, no, we're not selling him.
No, we're not going to do that today. You didn't pay out the money. You didn't want to pay out the money. You pulled out. You pulled out like it's a girl on a one-night stand.
Well, listen. No mass.
Some after dark there from Cass, and on that bombshell. Big up everyone who tuned in. Make sure you smash the like button. I'm not gonna lie, people. I am a little bit disappointed at the likes right now. It's only on 295 people. Come on, man. There's almost 1,000 of you in there. Please make sure you hit that like button. I know people forget, but hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Everybody's link will be in the description. Henry, let them know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, it's just Henry Wright TV on all socials. Daily transfer videos. Talking about the if, buts, and maybes. And then, and that's it. And then talking about if we're going to get Van de Ven over the line. And I'll be live tomorrow at some point. So, if you want to subscribe, it's just Henry Wright TV.
Cool. And I got one more super chat I totally forgot about. Apologies, bro. Mr. Sinclair, big up. LFC are waiting for the right player, equally being cost effective. It's like if you wait for a buffet, you're left with the food least wanted by the crowd at the wedding. That is a very true point. If you wait around, you do actually end up with a player that you don't really want. But again, I think the situation with us is a little bit different because Flacco and Hendo, it did just come out of nowhere. Whether people know it or not, there was absolutely no intent to sell those 2 players, and it's come out of nowhere. And now we're being forced into something that we weren't going to do. I think Lavia was the plan. I think learning off of Flacco for a year and Flacco leaves next year was the plan. And it's been forced now that we might need to buy someone more senior or absolutely take the chance that a 19-year-old can be the starting DM for Liverpool in a season where we're trying to get back to title contenders. So I don't know, man. It's all a bit mad. I'm hoping Paulinho is the one we really push the boat out for and maybe bully Fulham a little bit without being disrespectful and get them to sell him. I don't know, man. The core, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. But big up for that super chat, bro. And yeah, everyone knows where to find Lee. Everyone knows where to find Cass. The link will be in the description. Make sure you go and support the boys as always, people. Always doing good stuff, consistent all the time, and killing the game as always. And hopefully we'll be back with another summer panel show next week, guys. So until then, big up yourselves, everyone, and we'll catch you on the other side, man.
Peace.
Put your lips on it.
Peace.
Put your lips on it.